Well, hello and welcome to session 5. This is our Vinyasa flow, a little exercise to get the blood pumping and the mind off of our anxiety. So this is session 5 of our perfect week of yoga or perfect day of an at-home retreat, however you want to do it. But this is where the heart's going to get pumping, hopefully. So we're going to start on the mat as always, but we're going to start in hero's pose. So as we're getting ourselves there, if you want to find any equipment that you might want to use for later, please go grab that right now. I have my blocks here, and there's a point where we might be using a belt. I'll offer it as an option. And as always, I always encourage using our blocks. So I'm going to start in my hero pose by putting the block underneath my hips, sitting on the block just under the hips, and my heels are to the sides. Spine is nice and tall. Now you don't have to have blocks, of course. But sitting here, we're going to start with some breath. Maybe just move the wiggles out, as I might say to some of the younger clients. So, got any wiggles, especially if we have any stress, maybe just rolling those shoulders a little bit, shaking it out. Maybe take a second to shake out the hands. And we're going to take some deep breaths and some deep exhales too. And so when we do this, I'm going to invite you to just make a big sigh it out. We'll have a deep inhale, a 3-part breath where we will fill the belly, fill the lungs at the bottom, and then fill the lungs to the top on the 3rd part of the breath. Hold it for a moment, and then sigh it out, making a noise if you can do it, if you're in a space that you feel comfortable doing that. So as an example, belly, lower lungs, upper lungs, and then sigh it out. And if you want to throw your arms down too, it's kind of a fun way, but we can just stay static as well. But let's do this. So about 3 to 5 times. I'll lead you through 1 or 2, but do your own pace if you would like to. But inhaling belly, lower lung, upper lung, hold it, and then sigh it out. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, 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 sigh it out. At least 1 more time. Inhale, 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 hold, and sigh it out. Take a minute just to regulate the breath. Find ourselves arriving on the mat, becoming comfortable, listening to the breath, feeling the heartbeat. Keeping that spine nice and tall. And on your next exhale, we'll remove the block if you were using one. And if you were not using one, either way, crossing your ankles and coming back to a seat or just joining me on the seat, we're going to do some head to knee. So that means I'm going to keep my right foot pressed up near my left thigh, inner thigh, reaching my left leg out. Now, if your knee, maybe your hamstrings are really tight, you can always take a rolled up blanket and place it under the knee if you're having issues keeping the knee straight if it's coming up. Rather, it was supported, we didn't injure anything. Or if you're feeling good, all right, now this is the spot where you could also use a block. So I'm going to reach over, keep that spine nice and tall, and I'm just going to reach left fingers toward my left toes. No hunching, right? No squishing, keeping the integrity of the body. Maybe my hand just takes to the shin, to a block, or maybe it makes it to the toes. No judgment. You are where you are meant to be. Keep space in the belly for breath. And we're just going to lean into this. Inhale the right arm up overhead and exhale, reaching toward those left toes. If you're grabbing the left toes with your left fingers, see if you can pull back on the toes. Maybe the elbow comes toward the shin, but keep the heart space open. So again, we're not, like we're being beautiful ballerinas. All right, and release. Now we're going to shift the torso, and both hands are going to come toward the shin or toward the block. And this is where I really like the block, by the way. So I can keep the integrity of my torso. I don't have to be really flexible, but I can be using those blocks to help to give me a little pressure on the hands, reaching for it. Now, you might be able to grab left fingers on the left toes, right fingers around the left toe. And if so, great. Just breathe into this for a moment. We're going to switch sides. Excellent. And release. Take it out if you need to. And let's switch directions. Okay, so left foot is pressing into my right side. I'm going to move my blocks over here just in case. And we're going to start with right fingers, integrity of the body. Right fingers reach out, maybe shin, ankle, toes, or blocks. But right hand is going toward the right toes. And again, if you can grab the right toes, maybe you can bring the right elbow down. We're all in a different place. So wherever you are is where you are supposed to be. And release. And then we will, oh, I didn't bring the arm over. Just kidding. Just bring the left arm over toward the right toes. I got into my own head and I was thinking about how we are literally was just thinking we have so many expectations of ourselves that we think other people are expecting us to do. And the truth is that really you're the one who controls those expectations. Okay, so now let's come up and now let's shift our body weight forward. Again, maybe 2 blocks on either side of the shin. But so now the torso, instead of the side body going over the leg, the torso goes over the leg. Maybe we're using those blocks, keeping the integrity of the upper body. Or maybe left finger grabs right toe, right fingers grab the little toes. It's okay if it's stinky, you can wash your hands later. And I'm still thinking about that, those expectations that we think other people have for us. But the only expectations that are the most important are the here and the now and what you want out of your life. Okay, so let's release. And I'm going to move my blocks back here just to make sure that they're nice and handy. I'm going to swing my legs over and we're going to do a cane fold. Okay, so, legs stretched out in front of us. Actually, I'm going to switch my directions here just because. Legs stretched out, maybe we're, shaking the legs out a little bit, pointing and flexing the toes. And this is another great spot that if you would like to put a blanket under the knees because the knees are coming up off of the mat, just a little support is wonderful. And if not, great. Okay, and we're going to do a couple different cane folds here. So from here, pressing our sit bones in the mat, reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling, inhaling up, opening up our heart space, and hinging at the hips. Exhale, forward fold. Again, maybe shins, ankles, blocks, toes. And release. And now we're going to take the hands behind the back. Legs are going to stay out. Hands come behind the back. Palms or the heels of the hands are near the hips. The fingers are pointing the opposite direction, placing them on the mat, reaching back, or if you need to, if you're not feeling really strong here, you can always use a block here or no block. Then opening up the heart space, opening up the throat chakra. Gentle with the neck, making sure the neck is nice and long. And release. Coming back, interlace the fingers and press the palms up to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale, bending forward, palms out toward the toes. And release. Okay, from here, we're going to come into our hands and feet and hands and knees. So I'm going to bring my ankles in, roll into a neutral tabletop, and we'll do some quick cat cows here. Remember that cat cows are really just meant to wake up and stretch out the lower back, maybe even the upper back too. And it can also be a great time for you to spend with some mindful movement. So make this cat cow what you need right now. Do you need to stretch out the back, warm up the back? Do you need some mindfulness? Do you need that moment of checking in? Do you need all of the above? And that's okay. Okay. Wiggle it out. We're going to do some arm circles here just to wake up the arms. I'm going to press into the left hand and reach the right arm back, reaching around. Be careful of the shoulder joints and coming down. We'll do the same thing. Pressing into the right hand, left arm comes up. Now press into the left hand and we'll go the opposite direction. That's the opposite direction. So, okay, great. Now we're going to go into a extended puppy to child pose. We're going to do a little movement here. So I'm in my neutral table, hips are high, reaching my arms out, chin and chest come down. Take a breath here, inhaling and exhaling, and then release into child's pose, bringing the hands back by your feet, resting for a breath. And then sliding the hands forward, back into a puppy pose. Puppy pose, chin and chest, or maybe forehead and chest, hips are high, arms reaching out. Breath here. And then sitting back into child's pose, hands by the feet. We're going to do that one more time. Inhaling, reaching arms out, chin down, hips up. And then exhale, coming back into child pose, hands by the feet, forehead down. We'll take a moment here, out 2 to 3 breaths, to center ourselves, feel ourselves connecting. And remember that this is that pose where we maybe feel the most safe. Remember that you are here on the mat. This is your time to feel safe, protected. All right, on your next exhale, we will transition, coming in, reaching out into an almost puppy pose, but this time we're going to come into a down dog. I'm going to fix my shirt. Okay, so down dog, pressing through, curling those toes, inhale, sending those hips high. So it's like a puppy pose, but much bigger. All right, if you'd like to pedal it out, really be mindful of stretching out the feet, mindful of how the ankle moves, mindful of how the calves might feel, and then come to a moment of peace. And we're going to do a little workout here. You ready? Weight goes onto the left foot. Let's inhale the right heel up into a 3-legged dog. Keep those hips balanced. Maybe take a moment to press through the fingers. Do you need to move up a little bit more? Maybe we move up a little bit more. Change your hands where your hands are. Now we're going to do some leg lifts here. So that just means I'm going to bring my right toes down to barely touch the mat, and then inhale my heel back up. And let's do this about 3 to 5 times. So exhale, toes down. Inhale, heel up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hopefully we're at 5. Exhale. And inhale. Okay, awesome. And now bring that foot back together and we're going to go into plank. So for them planks, I'm going to ripple here into plank, holding that plank posture for a moment, checking my posture, checking where my hands are, my feet are, my belly button is, and then press back to down dog. We'll do that 2 more times. Ripple through to plank, and then press back to down dog. Ripple through to plank, and this time, lower all the way down. Oh, you didn't know I was going to do that, did you? Flip the feet, palms and forearms on the mat. We'll do a little sink. So inhale the spine, pulling away from the hips. Exhale, opening up that heart space. Micro back bend. And release. Pressing back through to a down dog. I'm going to start it all over again. Find that moment of peace. In your down dog, weight shift to the right foot. Inhale, left heel up. Keep the hips even and balanced. And we'll do the same thing about 5. Exhale, lowering the left toes to just barely touch the mat. Inhale the hips up. So 4 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. And inhale. And then just step back to our down dog. And we'll do those ripples one more time. I know your shoulders are already mad. That's okay. All right. As we ripple, I want you to really be focusing on the belly button coming to the spine. So inhale, belly button to spine, straightening out. And then exhale, hips come back. So we think about the hips when we move back, belly button as we move forward. 2 more. Inhale, rippling, please. Exhale, hips press back. Once more, rippling through, and then lowering all the way down as slowly as you can. Flip the feet, pressing through the tops of the feet and through the thighs, hands where they are, reaching that spine out away. Inhale, opening up that heart space. Exhale, coming back down. Okay, pressing through. We'll come back into a down dog. Breathe. From here, look between your hands, and we'll either slowly walk or maybe just normally walk. Feet between the hands for a nice forward fold. And let's take a moment in this forward fold. We know this by now. Inversions like a forward fold are such a good way for us to release any of that tension when we have that stress headache or that I feel so overwhelmed and overburdened. Can we find a place where we can just forward fold? Really being mindful of the weight pressing into all 4 corners of the feet. The knees are gently bent. Check in with the backs of your knees, the backs of your thighs. Check in with your breath. Maybe you're holding on to a block here. Sometimes, even if you are really limber, sometimes using a block helps you feel a little bit more supported. If that makes sense. Try it. Just try it and see. Okay. Forward fold. Now we're going to do a sun salutation. We're going to do a half sun salutation and go into a full sun salutation A. I'm just hanging out here for a minute. Maybe you're rocking back and forth. But when we do the sun salutation A, we'll only go through 1 round, but I highly recommend doing as many as feels great for you. So with this video, you could put it on pause and do a little mindful meditation through movement, breathing and moving through the sun salutation. Highly recommend. Okay, let's release the elbows if you're holding them, pressing to the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Back is nice and long, neck is strong. Exhale, forward fold, pressing to the feet, activate the legs. Inhale, arms come all the way up, reaching to the ceiling. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Okay, let's go through a sun salutation. I'll go a little bit slowly. If you know your sun sal, go ahead and do your pace. All right, from here, pressing through. Inhale, reaching up, really focusing on fingers pulling away from body, feet pressing into that. Exhale, diving down, forward fold, leaving space for breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands and really feel your fingers and your palms, all of it, holding your body weight here as you step or hop back into plank or supported plank. Your choice. Hold your plank here, and we're going to do chaturanga to up dog. Chaturanga is that slow push up down, push down, and then flipping those feet, pulling the spine away, baby back bend, a little back bend here, opening up the heart space, up dog. Exhale, really focusing on the hips leading the way into our down dog. Look between the hands and step or hop between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now inhale to come all the way up and exhale, hands to heart. How are we doing? Need a minute to shake it out? I agree. Okay, let's take a minute. Shaking it out. Shake the hands, wiggle the hips, shake the legs, shake the shoulders. If that's not good for you, it's one of my favorites. If I get too overwhelmed or if I'm holding my breath because I'm too stressed or I'm pushing myself really hard, I just shake it out really fast. Helps me come back to center. It's okay. It's all right. All right. So pressing, now we're going to get into our little balance mode here. So pressing through my left leg. Spine is nice and tall. Belly button is active. You can keep your hands at your hips, at a wall or a chair, or just out to your side. We're going to inhale the right knee up. So left knee is pliable. It's ready to go. The left or the right knee is going to draw a circle, half circle, semicircle, coming all the way around. So we're opening up. Let me show you again. Knee comes up and now knee opens out. So it's almost like that fire hydrant drill. Up, out. When we come to the out, we'll slowly step back into a triangle pose. Triangle. Activate those legs. Really feel yourself get taller. Bending the fingers out, opposite directions, feel the pull, either direction. Inhale, send the left fingertips out over the left ankle. Exhale, hinging at the hips, sending the left fingertips down to the shin, to a block, or to your ankle, right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Maybe your neck comes down. Maybe it comes up, whatever works. Holding here for a moment. Inhale, coming back up, torso comes up, right arm comes down, right side. It's almost like we're doing a peaceful warrior, but in a different posture. And then release, coming up, we're going to shift and send my right hand down toward my left foot or toward a block. And release. Mindfully pressing into the left foot. I'm going to inhale, coming up. My right knee comes up high, and I'm going to step back into a crescent lunge. So inhale, exhale, stepping back to crescent lunge, arms, and then down into a cactus. Inhale, arms up, and bring the right knee back up. So standing back up, putting the weight on the left foot. We'll do that 2 more times. Okay, so from here, inhale, arms up, exhale into our high lunge, cactus. Inhale, arms back up, knee up. 1 more time. Exhale, arms down, cactus, coming into our high lunge. Sweet. Okay, so from here, we're going to inhale, coming back up, and we're going to come into a tree posture. We have to have a little bit of balance here, right? So from our tree, remember, we can be at the ankle, we can be at the calf, or we can be at the inner thigh. So find where it is. If you're at the inner thigh, thigh presses against foot, foot presses against thigh, hip doesn't come out. So check the hip. If you want to be here, but your hip is still sticking out, maybe we just come down. It's okay. It's not a competition, especially if you're doing this at home. Nobody knows. Be mindful of the right knee pulling out, belly button in, hands to heart. Take a moment here to feel the heart beating, I should say, against your fingers pressing against your heart space. If you feel comfortable, you could stay right here or maybe open up those arms. And when we open them up, this time I invite you to see if you can pull them back. So if we have our thumbs out here, palms are up, the thumbs are almost pulling back. Someone's pulling us back behind us. Now you could stay right here, or I have a little invitation for you. If you'd like to bring the top of the right foot into the crook of this thigh, great. If that's not working for you, go back into tree. Keep the left knee bent, and you could stay right here. You can also try to bring the right arm around and see if you can touch those toes. We'll bind. Or hands on hips, hinge at the hips, let the heart space lead. Find your drishti, your focal point, and slowly coming down to a forward fold. Maybe you're folding to your block or to the mat. That was the slowest forward fold that I could possibly do, and I highly encourage it. It feels great. Okay, activating the leg. We're going to come back up to standing. Pressing through your left foot. Find that drishti. Find your focal point. Excellent. And we will release from the foot in the crook or from our tree, wherever we're at. Bring both feet together. Awesome. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, if you need to shake it out, shake it out. Do you remember Saturday Night Live? Two wild and crazy guys. Pretty sure that's where I got it from. Okay, so pressing through the right foot. Woo. Pressing through the right foot. Inhale the left knee up. And remember, we did that little circle. Left knee opens. And then steps back into our triangle. Maybe you want to do that a couple times. Feels good. But step back into that triangle. Meet me in triangle. And this time, reaching those hands out. Check your posture. Check your sign. Fingers going opposite directions. Hello, plant. Inhale, reaching the right fingertips out over the ankle. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Ankle fingers come to the ankle, not the ankle comes to the fingers. I guess it could, but that would be a different posture. Left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Breathing here. And remember that all of these postures, when we add intention to it, it changes the posture. Okay, inhale, bringing that body up, pulling the belly button in to move you. Left hand to the thigh, right arm reaches back. It's almost that peaceful warrior. And then exhale, shifting the weight. We're going to send left hand to be by the right foot or by a block, and right fingertips are twisting us up toward the ceiling. Pull that belly button in. Don't let there be a hinge. Now, if this is hurting at any point, you could always bring that right hand down. Maybe you just have both hands down, framing the foot. That's totally fine. Or maybe we're in a different posture. Okay, and release. Now we're going to come back up into that knee to warrior one. Well, not warrior one. Weight goes onto that right foot. Inhale, bringing the left knee up. Arms up. Exhale, stepping back into a high lunge. Arms in a cactus. All right, weight goes onto the right foot. Inhale, arms up, knee up. Exhale, stepping back. Once more. Inhale, arms up, knee up. Exhale, stepping back into cactus. All right, weight goes one more time onto the right foot, and we're going to come into that tree posture. Ankle, calf, inner thigh. Thigh presses against foot, foot against calf. Check your hip at the door. Spine is tall. Bring those fingers to heart. Feel the heart beating against your thumb. Feel your thumbs pressing against your heart chakra. Stay here or open up the palms for the gift of the universe. Pulling the thumbs back behind you. Stay here or bring the top of the left foot into the crook of your right hip. And again, bring that left hand around. Maybe it might be hard to see, but maybe your left hand can come around and grab that foot. Maybe not. Maybe just have your arm behind the back. And maybe you stay there or let the heart space pull out away. Find your drishti and forward fold all the way down. I forgot my block, or to a block. Ooh. All right. Pressing through the foot, being mindful of the knee, slowly coming up, forgiving yourself if you fall. It does take a lot of work to do it. Release that foot down, shake it out if you need to. Don't worry, we're going to come down to the mat in just a second. So let's take our feet nice and wide. We're going to do a forward fold here. Hands can be on the hip or interlace the fingers behind the back, pulling the shoulders down. Inhale, heart space leading the way. Hope that makes sense when I say that, but it kind of gets your spine away and leading it down. If your hands are interlaced behind your back, maybe you can let the pinkies start to pull a little bit toward your head. You only have one. Well, unless there's, actually not always. Sometimes there's more. One more nice deep breath here, and then release the hands if they were behind the back, or even if they're on the hips. We're going to come down to a seated position. So you can slowly lower down. We're going to go into some bridge. So for our bridge today, sometimes I give an option of a supported bridge. You can always do a supported bridge, but we're going to do a little workout here. You ready? Okay. Feet are on the mat, knees are bent, spine is long. I'm going to slowly come down. So that's your challenge. How slowly can you come down to the mat? Oh, I just popped some of my vertebrae and it felt good. All right, bring my heels in. So bring your heels in. I'll bring my heels in. You do you. I'm going to press with my palms and my forearms. Feet are pressing against the mat. Be really mindful, really intentional about how you are supporting yourself here. So we're not putting too much pressure on our neck. But we're going to do some bridge up. Okay, so if this is not your thing, of course, go into your supported bridge or your traditional bridge. But otherwise, join me here. Inhale, sending the belly button to the ceiling, holding it here. And on the exhale, slowly coming back down. We'll do this about 5 times. So the breath and movement are joined, but pressing through with the feet and the hands and the forearms. Inhale, belly button to ceiling. Hold. And exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae coming down. 3 more. You ready? Inhale. Really squeezing the glutes, activating the whole core. Exhale down. 2 more. We got this. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Sweet. Let's bring the knees into the chest for wind relieving pose. Give yourself a nice hug. With intentionality, remind yourself that you are here now. If you'd like to rock back and forth, you can if that feels good. And then we're going to let our knees fall to the right. And they can be stacked or you can have a block between the knees. Send your left hand out to the left. And come back to the center. Give yourself a hug again if that feels good. And then let the knees fall over to the left. And try not to run into your mirror. Hello, mirror. And reach his right hand out. And come back to center. Okay, so we're going to do a little legs up the wall, but without the wall. So here's where you might want the belt, possible. So I'm going to stretch my feet up, and you can use the belt or not. But we're going to do some leg ups. We're kind of working on our abs here a little bit. So I'm going to hold it here. And if you need some assistance, you can use the belt to help guide the feet and to come back. Or just placing the hands next to the hips. Take your feet up, maybe point and flex a couple times. And then we'll do about 3, very slow or more if we can do it a little faster. Inhaling here. And then on the exhale, allowing the heels, legs are straight, go as slowly as possible. Oh, it's gonna hurt right there. Hold it. Don't let go. Don't let it go all the way down. And then inhale, coming all the way back up. Okay, let's do two more like that as slowly as possible. Inhaling and then exhaling, allowing the feet, maybe they're not touching, maybe they're apart, so they're not as supported. Pressing through the arms, just like with our bridge. Coming down, but don't let the heels touch. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so close. Okay, inhale one more time. And exhale as slowly as possible. And this time we're going to hover because you love me. Hold it here, hold it here, hold it. So we're hovering just above the mat. You can do this. I believe in you. I believe in me. And release it all. Oh, excellent. So we're going to do two more postures and then we will be at the very end. But hopefully we got a good workout here. So let's bring our knees up toward the chest and let's do a little happy baby. So kind of stretching out those hips a little bit if you want to rock back and forth, whatever feels good. Now, again, if you need to, you can use the belt. So if you can't quite reach your hands, legs are as wide as our torso, just a little wider than the torso. And maybe we need the belt to give us a little extra stretch, but maybe we can reach the hands. Even if the knees aren't totally bent, maybe if we're holding on to our shins. If this is a goal for you, you'll get there. You just have to do it regularly. If it's not a goal because of injury or disinterest, that's, you can always do something else. Okay, and release. Now we're going to go our one last major stretch here, posture, is fish posture. We did a supported fish recently, but this one is without the support. However, if you would like to do one with the support, you can. We've done a whole lot of little back bends and trying to activate the core to give us the strength to be ready for this posture. So again, just like with everything else, arms are close to the body or under the body. You can always put them under the hips, pressing through the elbows, reaching your chest up. Now, if you would like, you can always come up on your forearms. Legs are straight in front of you. I'm on my forearms and my hands here. Pressing in through the elbow and the palms and inhaling that chest up. So remember, we've been leading with the heart space. So lead with the heart space and maybe we don't drop the neck at all. And you can do it that way as well. Okay, so either one. So if you're down on the mat, you can have your hands next to the body or under, pressing through the elbow and bending back. The idea is to open up we have a little back bend here, and we're opening up our throat chakra. So either way that we get into whichever fish is going to open up that throat chakra. Take another couple breaths, whichever posture you've chosen. And then to get out, be very gentle with your neck, right? Maybe you roll to one side or you roll back and forth a couple times until you can come out of it. Be very gentle with the neck. We're not injuring ourselves. Excellent. So now we're in the spot where we're going to bring the bottoms of our feet together for a Supta Baddha Konasana. Allowing the knees to fall to the side. Bring the hands to heart, one hand to heart, one hand to belly. And I invite you to take 3 very slow, long breaths and just let your hands bear witness to your breath, to you being alive. I am worthy. I am alive. I can do hard things. We can stay here this feels good for you. Or maybe use this opportunity to release the hands and the legs and come into a Shavasana. And stay here on your own, maybe 5-10 minutes, just breathing and being present. And if you'd like to close that class with me, I'm going to bend my knees, put my feet on the mat, roll to one side, and slowly, supportedly make my way up to seated position. Remember that your yoga practice is your yoga practice. You should never go into pain. Always make sure you're listening to what your body's secrets are. What does your body need? And from our seated position, we'll inhale our arms up overhead, bringing in all the positive energy that we can. Palms together, bring the hands to heart, bowing. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for letting me